Good morning there again. Okay, last week we were pegging a few chances to potentially happen thunderstorm-wise. In the end, I only really saw one. Well, that's for me anyway, in Canterbury. There may have been a few thunderstorms elsewhere, but I can't remember everything. But anyway, so last Friday I talked about a chance for Canterbury. Didn't really eventuate. The weather had other plans. But Wednesday there was a risk. And it ended up stretching up the eastern side of the South Island a bit further than we thought it would. So this is the map I produced last Saturday morning for Wednesday, mid-week, which we've just been through. We did talk about a thunderstorm chance, but mainly it was for this southeastern corner just there. And we were thinking, well, I was thinking anyway, the maps were thinking, I'm just reading them, the cold upper air support sort of like dropped away. So I was only thinking thunderstorms for coastal Otago. But in the end, that cold air did stretch further northwards into Canterbury. Storms actually triggered around North Otago into South Canterbury, Oamaru, the Waimate area, one of my favourite spots. And then the change pushed heavy showers, heavy rain, hail and some thunder into mid-Canterbury, and I believe some thunder did get into about Christchurch. At that point, the cold air support moved offshore to the east and thunderstorms sort of gradually moved away. Anyway, that was about it really, as far as I know. But anyway, so let's look at the weather for today. This is the map for 3 p.m. this afternoon. A bit of a disturbed west to southwesterly airflow over New Zealand. Now there could be thunderstorms, while there may have been thunderstorms. It depends which time you see this. But for the west coast, first half of this day before midday, especially down towards southwestland Fiordland, into the second half of the day, midday, this afternoon onwards. Mainly here in the south, so yeah, maybe even late morning, midday-ish. There's a chance here in the south perhaps, and then maybe up this eastern side into this afternoon. But the airflow is quite westerly, so it's really going to be a bit dry before that change comes through. But the upper air is quite cold, so you never know, something could happen. A bit of a south to southwesterly flick moving through Canterbury this afternoon, but yes, once again preceded by quite dry westerly winds. Something may kick off, we'll see. Maybe Banks Peninsula. It's sticking out in the flow a little bit more there, tends to catch things a little bit better than a little bit further inland for Canterbury. Anyway, and then after Saturday we're going to sort of like calm down a bit. It's mid next week that we go to next, that one there. A front is heading in for the South Island, heavy rain for the west coast as it moves northwards, and yes, there could be thunderstorms, strong northwesterly winds ahead of it. At least it will be warm. That front, it reaches the North Island overnight Wednesday into Thursday. There will be rain, but the unstable factor may drop away a little bit, as these fronts tend to do as they move northwards. It's not always the case. They can be thundery, right the way through. But in this case, I'm seeing, it sort of loses its instability a little bit, the further it moves that way. And then we've got some nice cold air in behind, cold unstable air. Let's move to the next day, Thursday, but it'll be sort of like overnight Wednesday, very early on Thursday morning that there's a chance there in the south. But yeah, this map is 3 p.m. in the afternoon. Anyway, Canterbury in the morning, there is a, south to southwesterly flick moving through there. There is some nice cold air support, but because of the timing of that change, it's in the morning. Thunder may not happen, but it still could. You never know. It's better when south to southwesterly changes, no matter where they occur really, move through in the afternoon, because you've got heating from the sun and that change sort of makes use of that energy, and that's when thunderstorms blast up. Anyway, therefore, the cold air is a bit further north on this map, and there is a south to southwesterly change moving through the eastern side of the North Island in the afternoon, so there could be a good chance of storms there, perhaps. Maybe this western side also, you never know. We'll have to sort of, see as we move along as to what will actually happen. Then on Friday, actually, there's that front there. It's already skipped forward past the North Island, off to the northeast there. Anyway, let's go to Friday. There we go there. Showers returning for the west coast. Now, there is a wee pocket of cold air. You can see that blue line there. Right, just there. There is some cold upper air. It's about negative 26 degrees Celsius, especially southwestland Fiordland. Could be a few thunderstorms there. Only for a moment though, because this big incoming northwesterly airflow ahead of a front moving in there sort of blows this cold air way down to the southeast. A lot of warm air moves in, so we've got strong northwesterlies returning, warm air in the east, and wet weather for the west coast. There you go. So there's the front moving in. There could be some thunder there perhaps to the west coast, cold, unstable air potentially in behind. It really shows that spring is in force. Northwesterly, southwesterly changes, chances of thunderstorms. It's what spring is all about. Yeah, anyway, warm there in the east, strong northwesterly winds. Okay, we'll catch you again next Saturday morning. Cheers.
Thunderstorm large hail has been forecast.